So Call of Duty is scared, and they are putting out a massive promise to fix a bunch of things here in just a short amount of time. They have committed an update for Ricochet, servers, perks, movement, reloading. You guys, you name it. Everything that we've asked for over the last couple weeks. I've put up a ton of videos. The entire community has been screaming about the state of Warzone, and it sounds like on January 28th, at the time of recording this, about 10 to 11 days before we see these things come into effect. So stick with me here because I'm going to go through this as quick as possible. And I'm going to highlight the big things that they are going to be focusing on. Obviously, number one, the cheating and the ban system. They're going to be working on both. It sounds like they are addressing some of the shadow banned questions alongside the massive cheating issue. And you can see their claims here in just a moment. Their ability to disable crossplay on consoles in rank play. That's huge. I'm not on console. I was for a very long time till about a year ago. So I empathize with you guys that are, and if you don't want to play with PC players and ranked play, that's a huge W for you. By all means, go for it. Turn that baby off and stay the heck away from the cheating until they get it completely figured out. I don't know if that's going to be live on the 28th, but I sure hope it is. Server issues. This is different than the hacking issue where they're crashing the lobby. This would be more on the side of actual connections through via packet loss and general desync, which they talk about both the crashing and that in this update, as well as the quality of life updates that we talk about, that we just recently did a video on between Warzone 3 and Warzone 4 and some of the things that we wanted to see back. So stick with me here because we are going to go through a huge promise from Call of Duty. So obviously they talk about the cheating detection system and how they're finding players, but they've done what they normally do. They've talked about how many they've banned. This number is pretty massive. 136,000 players in ranked play. That's insane how many people they've taken out over the course of the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we're still seeing way too many, and they are enhancing the cross-examination tools, which I'm positive has the automatic detection system, and then it's reviewed by an actual person on the Ricochet team, and they're doing some more efficiency settings so that they can get through to the actual cheaters faster, and I would assume that would mean releasing your shadow bans sooner. So the system is not perfect, but they're going to continue to work on it. They address the spam reporting here and the new detection system. Maybe that will prevent the spam reporting as a whole. When there's a lot of cheating going on, people are way more hyper to report, which I've myself have been doing, and I've been starting to look at, did I just get gunned or is that guy actually hacking? So the system should start to renew the trust in the community, but they're once again reassuring us that spam reporting or malicious reporting in general is not something that is going to benefit you in any way. They even address the massive 10,000 reports tool that has been talked about all around the community and how that doesn't do anything. I have no idea if it does. I can tell you that I've seen firsthand that if you appear to be spam reporting someone, because I've seen players on my team go through that process and then bam, Ricochet will nail them. I can't answer that, but in according to Call of Duty, one and done, nothing else changes after that. You can't spam report and get somebody banned, according to them. New detection systems for repeat playing with cheaters behavior. This is crazy. Obviously, this is not going to be if you automatically queue into a lobby with a random cheater on your team. Do everything you can to troll them the entire time you're playing with them. I completely condone that behavior. Other than that, though, if you are queuing with a person that is cheating, and if you don't know, maybe start to look at somebody on your friends list that has outlandishly high kills. Like if they're dropping 25, 30 kill games every game and they're just always, the last one there, might not want to hang out with them anymore because it sounds like Call of Duty is going to start to mark your account if you are repeatedly queuing up with someone who is cheating, because you could be boosting or benefiting from their cheating behavior. So they kind of want to alienate these guys as best as possible, and I think that's fantastic. I hope that they are effective with that. They go on to talk about how they can't do widespread IP bans for areas, which I think is good to give people a little bit of an education about how that works. And if you're penalizing people that are in an area where a high congestion of machines are using the same connection, that could be detrimental to players of multiple there. And obviously they want to make more money and they want as many people playing their game as possible. So I can't imagine what their customer support line sounds like. They go on to talk about the season 2 promises, which is where they're going to fully introduce a new and improved client and server-side detections and systems, major kernel level driver update, which is something that needs to happen every season, in my opinion. Somebody should be fully dedicated to pretending to just be an average casual player, and they should be trying to purchase these cheats and then study them. And if they're not doing that, that is a huge loss on their part. Companies put bounties out to figure out cheats and hacks and backdoors and all of that all throughout the tech industry. So they need to be using all of that and then building their updates seasonally based on the traffic that these cheat developers are creating to ruin their game, because how else did we get to the place that we just got to? So they're going to reinforce the encryption process and a new tampering detection system, which is basically anybody who's trying to work around that, they're going to have a harder time doing so or could get permanently banned just by trying to tinker with that. So season 3, it sounds like they're opening up the entire system and doing a whole new one, versus season 2 is just an improved format to hold us over to season 3. I know, myself included, but everybody was upset about them saying, well, it could take to season 2 or 3. I think that's just bad PR. They should have just, bet up front and said, hey, we messed up. This is what we're going to do to fix it now. This is what we're going to do to fix it later. And been more transparent, which is something we are all sick of asking them to be. And this article at least is a great step in the right direction. Last time I remember them being this direct was probably when Raven took over Warzone during the whole season 2 fiasco a few years ago. But this is great. This is all great news. This is what we wanted. There's a ton more here, so let's keep going. The improvements that will be in season 3 are going to be as strict as possible, which sounds fantastic because this is when we're seeing Verdansk. Start of season 3, it is, I believe, completely confirmed that Verdansk is going to be back. So here they need an all new system that is going to be probably focused on making Verdansk the cleanest cheater-free environment that we possibly could be. Because if not, I swear people are going to riot in the streets. They have to. So looking at all of that, it also claims that they are continuing their legal action against cheat sellers, and they even go as far as to say that it is illegal. Heck yeah. I think that's fantastic. I think that they should be doing everything from the bounty side to the testing to more quality control to suing the pants off of these companies that are ruining their game and ultimately frustrating their player base. So that's awesome. Getting into the server problems, they've been monitoring the match activity closely, which is interesting because they claim to be identifying suspicious accounts that appear in multiple crashed lobbies. It's like, well, yeah, you should be able to tell who's forcibly DDoSing your server. And I'm glad that they're addressing this. They basically shifted blame off of their server problems on that direct route, saying, well, someone's intentionally doing this, and they figured out what that is coming from, and they're going to find a way around that. I'm assuming that will also come with the ban, which is fantastic. The actual infrastructure, though, is they're trying to make it more consistent for the player in general. They don't want anybody ruining the game on purpose, and then they also don't want accidental server-side issues, which can open up a whole new can of worms. And there's a lot of people that are talking about tick rate and connection, and I'm 100% behind those arguments. But right now, we just want a consistent connection as they integrate the new concepts that we're at. Baby steps to back to the perfect game is we can sit here and throw our hands up in the air and say Warzone's dead and it's not resavable. Baby steps, let's get it back to where it was, and then let's put systems in place to stop these things from ever happening again. And it sounds like we're on the right track because they're going all the way through all of this again in rapid timing to line up with season 3 for the Verdansk update, which is all great news. Voice moderation, all I got to say is I'm just glad that they're not going stricter. They want us, to still have the freedom to trash talk. That's awesome. That's very much a part of the Call of Duty culture. But, you guys need to be careful about the no-no words. You all know what they are. Getting into rank play specifically, they definitely have heard the crossplay toggle. That's awesome. You shouldn't have to play with PC players when the hacking is that bad. There's a few more rewards that are coming for ranked play, which is fantastic. And then now we're going to get into some Warzone specific updates, which is what I know you guys have been waiting for. Reload speeds are faster for all weapons, anywhere from 5 to 20%, depending on weapon class. Can I just stop for a second and say, thank God. Reduced penalty when sprint to fire jumping from 35% to 10%, and increased jump ADS speeds by 25%. The intent is to find that middle ground of being able to pull off jump spots without it being the meta movement strategy. I see where they're coming from there, but I cannot wait to B-hop. I hope that that's what that means. I don't think you're going to be able to B-hop 7 times, but at least jump more than once and not feel like you broke your ankle would be phenomenal. Adjusted bullet penetration across most materials, resulting in more consistent experience for thicker walls in particular. Weapon swap speed increased by 10%, effectively replicating the effect of quick grip gloves perk from Modern Warfare. I think 10%'s good. I don't think it's great. Depends on the effect with the weapons. Whenever they do percentage increases or decreases, it still is based off of the weight of that weapon in general. I don't know the actual numbers, but I'm glad to hear that they're actually working on that. Removed burst and semi-auto rifles and low rarity pistols from ground loot, allowing for more confidence and knowing how your weapon will fire when you pick it up. I'm going to say this also. Thank God. Removed burst and semi-automatic rifles. So I think what they're going for there is that, oh, I didn't know this gun was semi-auto. When you start shooting somebody in one trigger, a rifle that you're not really familiar with, the worst thing in the world is when you go to chow somebody and you just pull the trigger once and you get shot in the face. Movement, increase both jump speed and successive jump height. Oh, here it is. With one unmodified successive jump. Unmodified, I'm going to assume that it's not in a direction. I'll have to see what that actually plays like, but I'm intrigued. Increase the speed of the parachute cut animation, making cutting a parachute and readying your weapon significantly faster. That's fantastic, especially for those of us that like to hot drop the roof of, like, say, factory or any building. Control players, I see you guys. Be careful, as the audio cues need to match up with these animations, because if you're getting landed on, somebody's cutting a chute and pulling a weapon and popping it in your ear, you definitely need to be able to hear all of that. That way you can react. Increased player velocity when landing from a cut parachute land for smoother transition into full sprint. Again, sounds awesome. Again, what's that going to play like? Is it going to make me break my ankles at a different height? Are we going to have to relearn that muscle memory of where we can pull it from? The smoother transition sounds absolutely amazing, though, because the penalties are one of the bigger things that we talked about in that Warzone 3 versus Warzone 4 quality of life. So Omni movement, I'm still not officially against it. I believe there's potential. I just think the penalties have ruined the initial taste of it for me. Audio, I always love to see it. I said it in my last video that we can only go up from here. It was pretty hard to make it worse. Reducing reverb effects to improve directionality of movement audio produced by other players. This one blew my socks off because I thought they were going to continue to ignore this. They have addressed the perk issue. Starting off, the combat scout pings replaced with an outline that is not visible through walls. That's fantastic. I don't need anybody tracking me through walls as I run, and then continuing with low or high bullet penetration through surfaces, which they've also already addressed. I think that will help with some of the issues where you're running into a building, the combat scout is pinging it, and then they're hitting you through the wall with more bullets as you're going through, and you're just like, how did I die? New default perks, which I don't know how this didn't make it into the integration. I think this was one of the biggest oversights that they had. It probably will address a ton of the penalty issues that I thought. I'm hoping that something like Gung Ho makes its way into this, but at least for now, dexterity has been increased in its effectiveness and made default. As mentioned above, we've replicated the effect of quick grip gloves from the Modern Warfare 3. It used to be an increase of 40% or like amped back in the day. 10% is what they said before. I don't know if this is a full true replication. We'll have to see how that plays. And then fast reload has basically just been built into the base loot of the gun, which is great. I mean, sleight of hand, it should have died, several years ago. Everybody runs sleight of hand. Everybody wants it. Why put it? It's not, it's just become, it kills the variety of the perk, more or less. If everyone in the community is using the same 3 perks, then there shouldn't really be any other perks. So create the variety by fixing the base, which is what I've been getting back to, is I shouldn't need to run Sprinter. I don't understand it, but hopefully they work on that as well. Mountaineer returns as a perk in slot 1, replacing Dexterity, which is great because Dexterity was, I believe, bugged from launch. We've increased the fall damage reduction substantially from what is currently live with Dexterity, though not quite the powerhouse it was during Modern Warfare 3. Like I said, we're going to have to learn all new fall damage, especially with these shoots animations being cut, the cut of the shoot being cut, and then the velocity in which you fall, and also the change in the actual distance that you can take fall damage. Munition Satchel now only provides 1 additional item, down from 2, to address overstocking, spamming equipment. Fantastic. That'll help with lowering the explosive proximity mines, and the maximum deployed tacticals and lethals reduced to 2 each, down from 3, to make more purposeful trap plays. That's cool. Gas grenade radius, duration, movement penalties reduced to bring in line with the vision of zoning, tactical, and less of lethal crutch. Interesting. And advanced UAVs will now show elevation arrows. That's huge. I say that all the time, that once you get an advanced UAV, it's like, well, now you lost your elevation indicator. So that is a huge quality of life that I don't think we have actually had yet. I don't remember ever seeing an advanced UAV triangle with then an elevated triangle above it. So look for that, which is awesome. The miscellaneous body shield functionality is now limited, no longer automatically releases players in a free fall, no longer provides an outline of the victim's teammates through walls, and removed manual release of players keeping them alive must end with an execution. That's sweet, because then you don't have to keep picking them up. You don't have to sit there and back out of a game where you keep getting picked up and doing those nasty things that people do with your body. The flares that fire out of buy stations when a player is brought back can now be pinged to increase visibility on redeployments. That's another new one. Never seen that, never tried before. I'm assuming it wasn't possible at all, ever, but I love it. Instead of just, saying it saves on the call out, or for people who don't talk, you can ping the flare itself off the buy station. I was really hoping to see the killing of the eliminations. I think that convoluting the KD ratio is definitely an issue, but more to come soon. I am just astounded at everything that they've talked about. I'm grateful. Let's see if it actually pans out. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow me if you guys want more news about updates, or if you want to learn how to be better at the game. I do a ton of tips and tricks videos, and we talk a lot about game sense. So Come check out the channel if you're new. We would love to have you, and give us your input in the comments down below. Keep building, keep adapting. SitRep out.